Benedict drops in on Livingston's stand-up act, you'll see the name of the club is called the nightclub scene. The reason behind the name is because the director Steven Soderbergh didn't know what the name of the club should be, but he went with the name the nightclub scene because that's what he'd always called that part of the movie up to that point in the production.
Now you told me that your wife said that he called it Ocean 11.
Bernie Mac's role was greatly reduced because of scheduling conflicts with another project, and he also got sick during filming, which cut his screen time even more.
Hey, come on, let me in.
So now you know why Frank was in the bathroom in their hotel in Amsterdam, because Bernie Mac really was using the bathroom during that scene. Julie Roberts also had a reduced role because she was pregnant with twins by the time filming began. The majority of Ocean's 12 takes place in Europe, and shooting on location can be challenging due to the lack of control over the environment, such as with the public's willingness to be quiet while filming. The situation can become a gazillion times worse when location shooting involves two of the biggest male talents in the business and are sharing the same scene.
I go into some place and all I can do is see the angles.
However, when thousands of people turned out to see George Clooney and Brad Pitt do this scene on the bridge, the crew was pleasantly surprised that everyone remained completely silent during each take. When Catherine Zeta Jones' character Isabel is reintroduced into the story, she is giving a very long speech at Europol.
The Night Fox must be considered our #1 priority.
And the crew thought it would be helpful if Catherine had her lines with her at the podium, because it would look natural for Isabel to look down at her notes while giving a long briefing. However, in the end, Catherine wanted to memorize the lines anyway, because she thought it would be more helpful for her performance.
What?
A subtle fun fact about the cinematography around Isabel is that handheld shots were used whenever she is out working on a case, because Soderbergh wanted her footage to feel like she was always in pursuit. During the train station scene when they were looking for Yen, the filmmakers wanted to have a train pass by in the background to make the shot feel more authentic. But the train they wanted to use kept breaking down, so they had to just settle for having a train station with no train ever show up in it. A subtle plot point you may have missed is during the conversation when Isabel's boss denied her the 1077 order she requested, which would give her permission to use a large task force to stop the egg heist. He denied her the order because he'd already given her the same request before, but for a different case where she didn't make any arrests. The missing link here is that it wasn't ever made clear to the audience that the reason she didn't make any arrests is because it was the job Rusty and the others pulled in Amsterdam. Earlier in the movie, she realized Rusty was involved and ended up calling off the search, which shows in a very subtle way that underneath that thick candy shell, she still loved him after all.
Fair enough.
Given the elaborate look of the museum interior, you'd think they were on location, but each room of the museum interior was actually built on a set and a soundstage. The sets took months to construct, and as usual for movie productions, they were used for a few weeks of filming, and then were torn down, never to be seen again. Since I have a background in dance, this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. The actor who played Toulour, Vincent Cassel, came up with the idea to use capoeira to get by the laser field. Cassel trained for several weeks with some people he knew that practiced the martial art dance style, and did all the stunts himself except for the backflip off the statue toward the middle of the scene. The discussion Danny and Rusty have with Lamarck was filmed at the Australian Embassy in Paris, and if you look closely enough at Brad Pitt's glasses, you can see the reflection of the Eiffel Tower in his lenses. But the tower is nowhere to be seen in the background. The tower was removed from the shots because it would have dominated the backdrop, since the embassy was so close to it. And Soderbergh didn't want to be so cliché to show the Eiffel Tower just because they were in Paris. Much like the fountain scene during the resolution of the first film, Steven Soderbergh wanted the poker game entrance to feel organic, and didn't tell the cast what to do except the order they would come into the room. And in case you were wondering, Catherine Zeta Jones really did fall here by accident. And when it happened, Soderbergh knew it had to be used for the freeze frame to end the film. If there's a movie you want to learn about next, please leave a comment below. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to learn more fun facts about your favorite films.